I believe New Zealand does want energy for waste, but they want a full toolbox. They still want to recycle. And I think that's the path forward. But once things are mixed, once it's in the house, you go into your own home, your own garage, 4 or 5 different little things. Councils can't really make it work. The cost around that sorting, it's just not working. Not everything is recyclable. That's a theory. That's a want, that's a desire. We understand that. If it's not possible, how do we achieve it? We've just closed our 2 cardboard plants. OG are now exporting, so now we're shipping reliant on our recycling. They're going to get more and more choosy about what's recyclable, what's not recyclable, and you're going to get more going to landfill. I don't see anywhere around. Shipping is, those guys are bigger than countries, The 2 largest shipping lines in the world coming here, MSC and Maersk. We've got contracts with both of them, and these guys are monsters. They share 30 or what it might be, 25 or 30% of the cargo between them. We're not even 1% of their GDP. Now, with all of the political stuff going around the world, they're making choices. Do we stop here? Do we bring containers? We need to have processes here. We need to do more and more of what we're doing. And that, New Zealand Steel entering back into the EAF process is going to be good for New Zealand. It means we're going to be making steel out of steel. We need OG closing down is not a good thing. We need a cardboard and paper plant. All this stuff was made by the Right Honourable Robert Muldoon back in the day, right? And we're still living on it today. But what's in the future? We haven't produced anything since.
And of course, the big issue then is we're putting everything into containers, putting them onto ships, burning more oil to send them somewhere to be recycled.
But it makes us feel good. Zero waste, they're more than happy to do that because it's not in our backyard. We want to pretend that we're doing something that we're really not doing. We don't know what's going on over there. Ideology. Because I think if we're going to work with reality, we'd probably look at things a little bit different. I'm probably concerned more about landfills due to the waterways, personally. I've seen destruction of waterways in the Pacific and landfills, and we keep, and I've seen that happen, and it worries me, that reefs, these people that are living in the Pacific can no longer eat food from those reefs because these landfills that are leachating into the reefs, so the fish are no longer consumable. I've seen that, and I'm thinking, well, what's happening here with all those old landfills?
This idea of rehabilitating landfills, it's a developing technology, isn't it?
Oh, the technology's there now. Yeah, there was a gentleman, Bill Harris, who spoke at the hearing, and his father, I've met Bill a few times, know Bill really well, he's a lovely man. His father actually ran both landfills in Te Awamutu, one in Kiki, one in Te Awamutu. And he was talking openly about his father used to use the excavators and crush down the cars and bury them. The technology is there now to take that stuff out of that. What's happened to that?
Would they have those old historic landfills? They're not protected from the water table, are they?
No, there's no membrane.
Yeah.
And
and that worries you, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it should worry you. It should worry everybody. I've got children and grandchildren, and I like the idea of New Zealand being clean and green. But we seem to have lost our way a little bit with our council structure and the politicisation and weaponising of councils by the crews that are running them. And I have a little bit of an issue with that because, my view is if someone gets voted in and they have a mandate, no matter who they are, what they choose, then they should have control, but I'm not sure that they do. And personally, I think that the RMA, while it's not performing, I don't think there's any problem with the RMA structure itself. And here's the catch. After being through this process for 5 years, right? And the RMA process...
5 years.
5 years. The RMA process is actually a 90-day structure, technically. It should take 90 days. 5 years we've been in this. It's not the RMA that's the problem. It's not the cultural impact assessments that's the problem. I believe cultural impact assessments should be done. But how can it be done properly if they're not funded and if they aren't staffed? You know, there should be a cultural impact assessment. It shouldn't be just about council people making decisions. But then, you know, the council get to decide, is this notified, is this non-notified, depending on what they want. If they don't like you, you're going to get the full ride. You're going to get the full notification. They're going to let all their friends know. It's going to get the cultural impact assessment. But if they like you, you're going to get the free pass. That is the problem.
Why don't they like you?
Well, I don't know if it's about me personally. They probably don't like me now personally. But what I'm seeing is that there's a real lack of accountability, in my view, in holding these people that work at councils accountable to the structure. If the RMA is set in law, then it should be simple. Their job should be to get you to abide by the laws of the RMA, help you get across that line, and then help you get up and running so you can employ people and make a dollar. And what I'm seeing is there's no accountability around that power, right? And they like to really see how far they can take that power from time to time. My view on the RMA is that if we can hold the people in the councils accountable, fiscally accountable, if they don't do their job, then we should be able to take them to court for those costs. Then the timings would increase. We wouldn't have to get away with the RMA. We wouldn't need to create a fast track. But I also believe that it shouldn't be just in their court. The iwi people, not just the iwis, the hapu people. I believe that cultural impact assessment shouldn't happen, but if that all needs to be lined up with the law too, because everyone needs to do their job properly. You know, business people should be able to choose who to go to. We should be able to then rely on the law to hold everybody accountable. You know, there's a lot of people throwing mud, you know, at people. Councils are not courts. Councils are private individuals that are there to manage the policies of those areas. You know, everybody seems to think that it's not okay to disagree with the council. And I don't know if you agree with it, but councils are full with people, different people. Not everybody's the same, right? And not everybody behaves. You know, and we need to hold everybody accountable, whether you're in the government, whether you're in the local government, whether it's me, whether you're a citizen, or whether you're a business person. We all need to be held accountable. It's no good if councils aren't held accountable. And at present, I think that there's no accountability wrapped around these councils, which is the reason why the RMA is not working. But I would not like to see things not done properly. I would not like to see industry just running rampant either. That wouldn't be good. But we do need to hold councils, we need to hold them, accountable. And they must be efficient. We need to hold them to that. At the moment, you've got these people taking off, pausing things, you know, we got consents rolling in Auckland for 4 years, you know. And we get dragged into these processes, and then all of a sudden, someone at the council, you point the finger at them with their inefficiency, and all of a sudden you're under abatement. And then all of a sudden you're a bad person. It's about holding everybody accountable. Working for a council with immense power, they need to be held accountable. The more accountability you put around it, then these people will start behaving. If you allow them to be lawless, do what they want, give them immense power, then you're going to have problems. And they're going to start weaponising and attacking people.
It's 5 years since you've come up with this idea to improve New Zealand's environmental footprint. Have you regretted it?
I met some magical people, had some wonderful support, huge amounts of cost. But I'm not sad. At the end of the day, I think that New Zealand really wants this. I think that if it's not going to be me, it won't be long before it's somebody else. And it'll happen. It has to happen, and it will happen. Do I regret this? There's times when I have regret, when I see personal attacks,
And you have been attacked a lot, haven't you?
I've been attacked a lot. Been attacked a lot personally, my son, my family, the business. It's quite easy to throw mud at people.
Let's address a couple of things that happened in the Environment Court. First of all, the Waipa Mayor's assertion that the amount of people who submitted against Paewira was a record-breaking number of people, and unequivocal proof that the people of Waipa don't want Paewira. But I think what she missed in all that is when people were filling out their forms, a lot of it was just stamped and signed.
Yeah, I believe from what we saw, we were following it all. I mean, I think they're quite a small group. They were holding market sessions and just getting people to sign a form, and they were filling them out, stamping them, and a lot of the forms were uniform. I think ultimately, at the hearing in the last 2 or 3 days, I sat through, there were 53 submitters. So, 53. I think about 13 of those were positive. And most of those people positive were people who had travelled the world and seen the plants, and who basically understood the science. There were about 30, maybe less, submitters who read a statement, or they weren't questioned. They didn't have to tell the truth. They just basically said their piece and gave their opinion and opened their heart to what they think is right. And you know, unfortunately, even a lot of that got quite personal, but that's fine. They're entitled to. I don't know.
Well, you're being polite, and I'll say what I think. I read a lot of those statements. Misinformation, disinformation. A lot of the things that they said will happen if Paewira is built does not stand up to any kind of rational scrutiny.
No. There was one lady actually that crashed her car. I was behind her going into FMG Stadium, and she actually crashed her car into the barriers. That's how nervous she was. I felt for her, you know, and I backed my car up and you're right. And she was absolutely beside herself. And she went on and she read a statement. Then she realised I was the applicant, and she was all thankful. But then she was just really frightened of me. I find that sort of behaviour really weird. But you know, I also understand that until I'd seen it, I didn't understand it. And I think once these people see it, they'll be the first ones sitting in the cafe defending it, to be honest with you. There's a lot of fear around this, but my grandkids will be working in there. There's nothing to fear. Promise you.
Now, one of the things that was used against you was the fire. You had a fire at your Auckland plant.
Yeah, look, I've been in the scrap metal game pretty much, well, not always working, but since I was a child. My dad was a scrap metal guy. Scrap metal tools haven't really changed a lot, right? They've been, you're either shearing, shredding, or cutting with gas torches steel. Still the same. That's how it works. But I haven't seen, we haven't really had out of control fires up until the invention of lithium. To be fair, we have fire incidents almost every day, but we manage them. The two incidents that we couldn't manage where the fire service came was because we ran out of water. One of them, you know, and to be fair, the main processors of cars and whiteware and shredders in this region are ourselves, Sims and National Steel. Out of all three of those companies, we've had the least amount of issues. It's an industry issue, as you pointed out, but we don't actually accept lithium. Lithium comes in hidden in things. So, to get back to what you were talking about with regards to the waste system, and it's very hard to screen out lithium too. So the waste guys are suffering under this process. What I find is the council's ignorance around it. They are more than aware. You've got the Auckland City Council right now holding scientific rubbish truck trials in the King Country as we speak. The Auckland City Council, while bullying all the scrap industry and the waste industry, and I'll use the words bullying, because they know what's happening, but they're bullying us. They're bullying us because they don't know how to fix it. I know that the Auckland City Council itself, since January, has had 15 fires up until April, prior to my fire. 15 of their own fires. I've had 2 in 5 years. And we've had a few other incidents. But my team, I'm very proud of them. You know, that last fire was really interesting. It was, I was actually in Hamilton. It was 4 p.m, the heat of the day. I believe it was 28 degrees. The wind was at 35 kilometres per hour, prime fire conditions. There was no movement of pile in the yard. We've got it all on video. And the smoke started rising. My guys started attacking it. We emptied 22 to 25 IBCs. An IBC is an international container system, and we have them filled with 1,000 litres of water. And basically the excavators just crush the water over the fires, and we keep digging until we find it. Unfortunately, we ran out of water and the fire grew. The fire service, and these guys are all good guys, they turned up, but the access to water in Auckland was limited. And it took them about an hour 20 to set up. By the time that fire was at a point where people could see it. So it was out of our control. Since then, our guys stayed there. I think me and my son were there. My son was there for 36 hours. I was there for about 18 hours, and we ran the gear, and that's the easiest way to treat some of these issues is to put it through the system. Once everything's through the system, then you take the danger out of the piles. So I think a lot of that planning now has gone into place, not only us, but with Sims. We've built quite large fire suppression within our systems. We're now catching rainwater off our roofs, and there's plenty of it at the moment. We've got 30,000 litre tanks, and we've got high pressure pumps right by our piles. So since then, we've created the ability to fight more fires, because we don't really want the fire service. We want to be able to, anything that happens, we want to be able to find it. The biggest problem for the public and for the industry is that all of this stuff is getting smaller and smaller, Andrew. Earbuds, keys, phones, toys. You know, the lithium system is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And this sort of thing here, that's got a battery in it. And you know, the problem with lithium is that it's not actually the lithium that's the issue, it's a mineral. It's lithium ion and lithium primary. One is not rechargeable and the other one is rechargeable. Now if that charge gets trapped in that mineral, then it's holding that charge. And that's when the device stops working. You can't recharge it, it's not letting you have any electricity. That's when people throw it in the rubbish. What happens is if that gets punctured or whatever, that erupts. So when you're working with waste and you've got people grabbing with machinery, or you've got bins, trucks pushing the waste up, and there's friction, and sometimes that's where you create fires, right? But it's the fact that these batteries within these devices that are being imported, and they're pouring over the borders, tons, hundreds of tons a day. And we haven't quite worked out how we're going to, well, the general councils haven't really worked out.
But you on the ground, you're evolving. Your practices are evolving and changing.
We're evolving
to meet new demands.
Yeah, and getting back to what you said, you know, about our ability, you know, we, as I said, we're seeing issues daily. We're issuing invoices to people who drop us off where there's issues that we find. You know, we find fire extinguishers that haven't been discharged. We find things all the time. You know, batteries, cars with batteries. We're constantly finding things. We don't accept these things, but what we do is we treat them for the region. We fix it. And we want to be able to do that. Now, I don't think that council's bullying us is the way forward. I think council's empowering, working with us is the way forward. But I'm not in the council. So